Hello everyone, Catweazle here, welcome to the channel and welcome back to our playthrough of Arkham Horror the card game, where we're currently playing the Dunwich Legacy campaign and the scenario Where Doom Awaits. And we've done our first turn in this particular scenario, and what we have is we've got Jenny Barnes and Agnes Baker. They're at the base of the hill, and yes, a horrible conglomeration of spheres has come down from the ascending path, and he has attached himself to Leo DeLuca, but more specifically Jenny, because she's got the, the lowest willpower. Now, a couple of things before we crack on. I did ask about esoteric formula, and we can actually keep it. It is specific to the actual scenario it's in. If you actually look on the back of it, it's got that back, yes, and if you look up here, it's got a symbol on there. It just means that it's not available. If you look at the back of a normal asset, you see they have backs like that. So unfortunately we can't use the esoteric formula. It's no big deal anyway. It was worthwhile asking though. Again, you know, why can't they just put, you know, it's only can only be used in that particular scenario, or in the actual rules for the scenario, it does say already that you have to get rid of the powder of Ibn Ghazi. Why it couldn't say you have to get rid of the powder of Ibn Ghazi and any esoteric formulas as well. I know some people come on and say like, well, you've got to pay for every word, but that's just cobblers, man. You know, four extra words. Yeah, that's really going to send like Asmodee bankrupt, isn't it? That's complete rubbish. It's just something that they should have done and haven't. It's poor design. Okay, but it's not a deal breaker. Let's carry on. Was there anything else? Oh yes, somebody pointed out, they were asking how the conglomeration of spears actually got to move from the ascending path to the base of the hill when I haven't put a connector there. Well, that only applies for Jenny and Agnes getting up to the ascending path, because obviously there are these diverging paths to get there and they've got to pick the correct one to get there. That restriction doesn't count to the Mythos monsters. They can come straight down from the ascending path to the base of the hill. The reason we don't have a connector is because we have to go this way as investigators. That's the only reason. So the conglomeration of spheres was perfectly fine coming down here, and of course because Jenny had the lowest willpower, it's attached itself to her, so he is there. Right, I think that is it. We'll crack on with the Mythos phase in a moment. Just a quick reminder that there is another playthrough going on my channel, which is a video game playthrough of Pathfinder and Kingmaker. So the misadventures of Sir Basil Bodkin. If you don't like video games, don't watch it. Yeah. Just like if you don't like board games, don't watch this. If you don't like me, you don't have to watch this. So yeah, don't sweat too much about it. It's not going. The channel's not turning into a video game channel or anything. It's just a way of, as I say, it's a lot easier to do a video game playthrough. Doesn't take as much time as these do, and I can do it after my shift. So after I've done a 12-hour shift, I can just do a quick hour of a video game. That's all of it. This, I have to wait till I'm off shift. Like I'm off shift now. I'm on shift again tomorrow, but I'm off shift as it is at the moment. So we'll do another episode of Where Doom Awaits. So let's come back in a moment with the Mythos phase of, I think, what are we on? Turn 69, I think. Something like that. Okay, back in a moment. And here we are at the laugh and the chuckle phase. So first up will be Jenny. She is our lead investigator, so we get a good old Mythos card. Let's have a look. Wright's Howled. Oh, right. Revelation. Discard the top 3 cards of each investigator's deck. Oh, right, each investigator. I don't think they even have to be together. Oh. Each investigator at an altered location shuffles each weakness in his or her discard pile into his or her deck. That's awful. But we're not at an we're not at an altered location. But what that'd be awful card to get if you're at an altered location. So top 3 cards from each deck. Come on, let's get rid of some weaknesses. Fine clothes is not a weakness. Prepared for the worst is not a weakness. And cheap shot. Oh, aim for the eyes, boo. We've lost cheap shot. Well, that isn't very good, is it? Right, so those 3 have gone from Jenny's deck. Put them over here with her emergency cash. And the 3 from Agnes are... Come on, let's get rid of a weakness. Perception, that's not a weakness, and we could have done with it as well. Holy Rosary. Ugh. And Blinding Light. Damn it. We really could have done with getting rid of a weakness there. Or a couple of weaknesses, but it was not to be. Right, so that is a horrible card. Let's discard that. Right over here. Next up is Agnes. What does she get? Altered Beast Power. Revelation. If there are no abomination enemies in play, Altered Beast gains Surge. I think Conglomeration of Spheres. Yes, it's an abomination. So it doesn't gain Surge. Otherwise, choose an abomination enemy. Well, we've only got 1. Heal all damage from that enemy. Well, thankfully it hasn't got any damage on it. And attach Altered Beast to it. Forced. When you enter attached enemy's location, or vice versa, take 1 horror. Well, it's already in our location. We haven't entered its location, so we're not taking 1 horror. It's specific there. It says enter. So it's when an investigator enters the enemy's location, or the conglomeration enters a investigator's location, but it's already there. So I'm taking that to say we don't take 1 horror, but we will attach it. So there we go. So that one didn't work out. Okay. Oh, one thing obviously we've got to do is another Doom. So we've got 4 Doom now, which means we've got, what is it, 8 left. So we've got 8 Doom left. We're going to have to crack on. Okay, so that is it for the Mythos phase. Next up is the action phase, I believe. Okay, I'll be back shortly. And here we are at the investigation phase, not the action phase, the investigation phase, although we do get to do actions. Right, what we're going to do is Agnes is going to go first. The reason for that is we need to get this conglomeration of spheres over here because we want to be able to shoot at it, and in order to shoot at it, we're going to have to get the 32 Col up. And if we do that, we'd get an attack of opportunity. So let's push it across to Agnes. Now, it does mean that if Jenny makes a balls up and misses, she's going to hit Agnes. But, well, we'll just have to take that chance, I think. Okay, so what's Agnes going to do first? Well, for a first action, I think what we've got to do is we've got to find one of these diverging paths. So what we've got to do is investigate. So our investigation is 2, and what have we got? 3 shroud, which isn't the best. Is there anything we can sort of do? All right, we've got lucky, so we could pay 1 resource, and if we fail a test, if we only just fail it, we'll get a +2. So that's an idea, and that's a willpower test, so that doesn't help. Peter's a willpower, so lucky might help us out. So it's 2 against 3, unfortunately. So we need a +1 or better. Come on. Oh, hang on. Just before we do that, do we have anything here that can be chucked at it? Elusive, I suppose. But I'd like to keep that. Opportunist. Commit only to a skill test you are performing. Well, she's not performing it, really. So, no. So, we'll just have a go. And let's see how we get on. So we need a +1 or better. Really, a -1 will do, because then we can play lucky. So, come on. And we get a -2. Damn it! So, that was really close. Our second action, we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to try and investigate. Come on, a -1 or better. And we get... yak, a -3. So unfortunately, those 2 investigation attempts didn't work. And for our final action, we have to engage the conglomeration of spheres. So, downer. So that comes across there. Right, that is it for Agnes. So what we'll do is we shall move across to Jenny. And here we are with Jenny. First things first, she is going to spend 3 of her resources, because we are going to put the 32 colt up. And we're going to start blasting away. So it has 6 bullets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here's the 6th one. So we used Leo's extra action to actually promote the cult, and her next action is going to be a shot. So let's have a look at the 32 colt. Yeah, we're going to spend an ammo and we're going to fight. We deal +1 damage for the attack. Now, it's only got a combat of 1. We have a combat of 3. Can we get anything extra from anywhere? No, it's just 3 versus 1, isn't it? 3 versus 1. So, a -2 or better. Come on. And we get a fail. And that means we actually hit. Agnes for 2 damage, I believe. I'm not going to put it onto Peter. We're just going to have to take the damage. There's not really anything I can do here. I mean, we may end up killing Agnes. That's just the way it's going to go, I'm afraid. I can't see any other way of doing it. We've got to kill this conglomeration of spheres. And, yeah. I just think we're just going to have to do it. So, we'll go again. And... -2 or better. Whoop. Yay! -2. So we actually put 2 hits on the conglomeration. And for our final action, we're going to shoot again. -2 or better. And we get... whoop. Yay! An elder sign! In fact, does that help us out? +1 for each resource you have. We don't have any. So, it's like a 0, that, isn't it? If it's +1 for each resource you have. So she had a 0. Don't get any pluses, but a 0 is good enough anyway. So that is another 2 hits on the conglomeration of spheres. But, oh, let's put one of these on. So it's got 4 damage on it. Unfortunately, we haven't managed to kill it, which is a bit of a downer. And even when it attacks, you know, it would probably be attacking Agnes, but there'll be a horror. So it will get another damage on it, but it won't kill it, unfortunately. And poor old Agnes is going to take another health hit. down to 3, but I can't see any other way of doing it. If I had, you know, something in here which would have helped to, you know, add some combat to Jenny, I would have used it, but we got a tentacle, so it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So whatever we would have done, we would have ended up hitting Agnes in that particular action. So that's a bit of a bummer. I was hoping to kill that, but we haven't done it. That is it for the investigation phase. So next up, it is the enemy phase. And here we are at the enemy phase. So the conglomeration of spheres is going to attack Agnes. Doesn't matter that it's hunter, it's prey, means over here it's already engaged with Agnes, so it will attack Agnes. It doesn't go across. So we lose another health. So we're down to 3. That's bad. But as regards the horror, we're not going to take it off Agnes, because we're going to carry on trying to shoot it with the 32 Colt anyway. So I think what we will do is we'll actually put that horror onto, and the 32 Colt does 2 damage, so it'll kill it next turn, assuming we've managed to hit it. So we will put this horror onto the Key of East. Now the reason for that is that will increase each one of our abilities by 1. So willpower goes up to 6, intellect to 3, combat to 3, and her agility goes up to 4. So I think that is the sensible move. We'll do that. We could, I suppose, have, you know, killed Peter by putting the health onto him, but no, she's still got 3 left. Hopefully we'll get an emergency aid or something like that, and we'll be able to bump her back up. But I think, yes, we're going to have to take that one. You know, we're just going to have to have a... We're just going to have to risk it for a biscuit, I think. Okay, so that is the enemy phase. There are no more enemies, so we can crack straight on into the upkeep phase. And here we are at the upkeep phase. First things first, I've given everybody their actions back. Thought I may as well do that rather than do it on camera, save a bit of time. What next? Next we've got to look for any exhausted cards. There are none. So what we will do is pick a card for the lovely Jenny. What does she get? Something good, come on, overpower, cool. Oh yes, 2 combat icons, this is what we need. Max 1 committed per skull test, and if it's successful, draw a card. Die, you beast. Yes, we're going to use that. No error. So we'll put that down there. Yeah, you're going down. So, well, as long as something crappy doesn't come out of the Mythos deck. So, oh, and she gets 2. Because she's Jenny Barnes, she gets 2 of those 2 resources. Excellent. Right, get a card for Agnes, and Agnes gets Scrying. So, cost of 1 asset, intellect icon. We could possibly chuck this. You know, we do need, you know, one of these diverging paths to come up. So, uses 3 charges. As an action, exhaust Scrying and spend 1 charge. Look at the top 3 cards of any investigator's deck or the encounter deck. Return them to the top of the deck in any order. Mind you, that would be useful. I'll have to have a think about that. So we'll pop that there, and she gets another resource, so she's up to 4 resources. And I think that is it. Yes, that is it for turn 69. So we'll be back shortly with turn 70. I'll just go and upload this particular turn. We'll come back with turn 70 and see if we can get rid of that bleeder, because it's getting on my nerves. So I'll see you shortly. Hello everyone, and I'm back. So here we are at round 70. Righto, so conglomeration of spheres, we've got to get rid of it. But first of all, yes, it's a laugh and chuckle phase, so we've got to mess around with that. Our lead investigator is Jenny Barnes, so she gets a Mythos card, and we get Dissonant Voices. Revelation. Put dissonant voices into play in your threat area. Brilliant. You cannot play assets or events. Well, we're not going to play any anyway, so I think we're alright. Forced at the end of the round, we could discard it. Yes, the Cole and Leo DeLuca are already in play, so that's fine. And obviously, if we killed like the Conglomeration of Spheres straight away, it'd be nice to play one of these cards. But, oh, actually, Overpower. Overpower's a skill. I think that's okay. I hope so. Let's just check. Yeah, just assets or events, so we can play skills, that's okay. Whew. Right, so Dissonant Voices, and now we've got to pick for Agnes. And she gets Frozen in Fear. Well, she has got a conglomeration of spheres right next to her. Terror. So let's have a read of this. Revelation, put Frozen in Fear into play in your threat area. The first time you perform one of the following actions, move, fight or evade each round, it costs an additional action. Forced at the end of your turn, test willpower. Well, willpower's excellent. If you succeed, discard Frozen in Fear. Right, oh, well, I think we're just going to have her trying to uncover these paths. So that shouldn't be too bad. So we'll pop that there. What else? I think that is it. That's it for the Mythos phase, isn't it? Yep. So next up is the investigation phase. And here we are at the investigation phase. But just before we start the investigation phase, let's put a doom token out. So we've got 7 left. If we can find the numeral 7. So there you go. Yeah. Should have put that out during the Mythos phase, but we'll do it now just before we start the investigation phase. Investigation phase. We're going back to Jenny Barnes, going first, because we're going to try and get rid of the conglomeration of spheres. And yes, she is going to spend a bullet for her first action. So we'll use Leo DeLuca's action for that. And she is going to spend Overpower as well, which will give us 2 additional combat. So that's a combat of 5 against 1. So we need a -4 or better. Come on. And we get a 0. Brilliant. So that puts the final 2 damage on the conglomeration of spheres. So we have killed it. Excellent. Goodbye. So, well, I think we'll move this over here. Or does it go back? It might go back here. So what we'll do is, yeah, it may go into the actual event deck. So let me know if it stays in the event deck. I think it probably does. But it's just the way that it says, you know, it's Silas Bishop, and it sort of comes and it starts on the board. It doesn't actually start in the event deck. Maybe it gets discarded. Let me know on that. But for the time being, I've put it in the discard pile for the event deck. What else? What have I put these on end? Don't want these on end. Put them like that. Ooh. So, yep, we shall do that. Oh, I know why I put the discards on end, because I haven't got enough room. Because of all this palaver. But, right, we'll do it like that. Oh, Overpower worked, so we discard that, but we do get another card. And we get Think on Your Feet. So, cost of 1, it's an event. And we have a intellect icon, could be useful. Agility icon, Think on Your Feet, trick. Fast. Play when an enemy would spawn at your location. Immediately move to a connecting location. The enemy still spawns at your previous location. So that's okay. It's an event, so we'll pop it here. With elusive, which is very similar to. But the thing with that is, obviously, if we start getting more conglomerations and stuff like that, we should be able to give them the slip. The whole idea is we get to the top of the hill and we put an end to this horrible ritual that's going on. Can move that across now. So she's still got 3 goals. Woohoo! So we may as well start trying to find these diverging paths. So we've got a 3 shroud, and to investigate costs as an action. That's okay. We're not playing assets or events, unfortunately. And that means we can't play Think on Your Feet or Elusive for their icons. Damn it! Oof. Do we get any help from Agnes? She has... well, she's got scrying, but I don't really want to throw that away. I'd like to use it, to be honest. So, what have we got? 3 intellect against 3 shroud. Okay. Can't play any assets. We could play a skill. Like, if we played Opportunist as a skill, that gives a wildcard icon, and then we'd be 4 against 3, so we'd need a -1 or better. Those aren't great odds. But there's not much else we can do, is there? Oh, let's have a look at Streetwise. Brilliant. As a free action, we can spend 2 resources. We get +3 intellect for this skill test. We're going to do that. Oh no, it's an asset. Ah, it's an asset. Damn. Oh, I should have used that last time. Oh, what an idiot. Should have used that last time. Oh, damn. So we're just going to have a straight go at it. So it's 3 versus 3. So we'll spend an action. Need a 0 or better. Come on, let's have that 0 we just picked out. A -4. Well, that didn't work out. Spend another action. And we'll investigate again. Come on. A +1. Yes! Oh, yes! So, that means if you succeed, instead of discovering clues, put a random set-aside diverging path into play. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's get a die. Let's have a shake. And what do we get? A 1. So it's this one. Let's see what we get. So this now comes into play. Dunwich Woods. The path off the beaten trail leads deeper into the woods surrounding Sentinel Hill. We get Slaughtered Woods. This doesn't seem... This does... I don't think this is... Oh, we do get 2 clues though. We get 1 clue per investigator, so at least that... And it's only got a 2 shroud. Forced. After you reveal Slaughtered Woods, take 2 horror. If you have no actions remaining, we have got 1 action remaining. Oh, got away with that one. So we have 1 action remaining, and there are 2 clues on that location. Let me just dig them out. So 1, 2, and I think for her final action, she will actually move. So she's going to move into there, and we're going to try and get those clues. Because we need 4 clues for path to the hill. So hopefully we'll be able to pick those up. Especially because now we get rid of dissonant voices, I believe, at the end of the round. Oh, it's the end of the round, but we will get rid of that. Which means we should be able to use Streetwise. Awesome. Great stuff. So, well done, Jenny. Next up, it is Agnes. Now, she's frozen in fear. So it's for move, fight and evade. But investigation isn't on there. So we can investigate. So we can try and investigate and get one of these two into play, I believe. So we now have an investigation of 3. We've got an intellect of 3 because of the key of East. And we can play cards as well. We can play cards. So I think we'll play scrying for our first action. I don't think playing a card counts as 2 actions with Frozen in Fear. So we've got scrying into play for a first action. And for a second action, shall we actually use it? It's got 3 charges, let me sort that out. So 1, 2, 3. Shall we spend an action straight away to have a look what is on top of the encounter deck coming up? Exhaust scrying, spend 1 charge. Look at the top 3 cards of any investigator's deck or the encounter deck. Return them to the top of the deck in any order. I think being able to look at the top of the encounter deck will be marvellous. So we are going to exhaust that. Spend a charge, and obviously it's going to cost us an action, and we're going to look at the top 3 cards. We have Ancient Evils, place 1 Doom on the current agenda. That's not too bad. We've still got a bit of time to go. Another Conglomeration of Spheres. We don't want that. Don't want that. And Obscuring Fog. Obscuring Fog. Right. We need to think what order we're going to go in. Conglomeration of Spheres, that can go right at the bottom, I think. And we don't want that coming out for either of our investigators. Ancient Evils I'm not bothered about. If we put Obscuring Fog second, then make sure Jenny goes first. She won't get the Obscuring Fog. The Obscuring Fog will go wherever Agnes is. So if we keep Agnes at the base of the hill doesn't have any clues. So we'll put this second. So Ancient Evils on the top, Obscuring Fog second. Yes, that sounds like a plan. So we've popped that on there. So yes, strong card, scrying. So that'll be cool. Now she's finished using scrying. She's put it up and she's also used one of its resources. So her last action, I think for her last action, she's going to try and see if we can, you know, get another of these diverging paths. Remember, we still need 2 more clues to advance the agenda or the act, whichever one it is. And it's going to be 3 versus 3 again, isn't it? Oh, but this time we can use Lucky up to -2. So really we need a -2 or better. Come on, Agnes, you can do it. Come on, kid. What's this? Elder Sign. Not only can she do it, she does it in style. So let's have a look. +1 for each horror on Agnes Baker. Well, she hasn't got any. So again, we're at good old 0 compared to... So, yep, that's a pass anyway, isn't it? 3 versus 3. Remember, she gets +1 intellect for the key of East. So we didn't even have to use Lucky. So that's great. So we'll have 1 to 3, 406. And we get a 6. Put that over there. So here we are, exactly the same as the last one, but it will have something different on the flip side. Eerie Glade. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, 4. Nah, nasty. 4 Shroud. But again, we've got 2 clues, so that's good. Forced. After you reveal Eerie Glade, discard the top 2 cards of your deck for each action you have remaining. We didn't have any actions remaining. Ooh, we've been lucky. We got lucky on this one, and we got lucky on, what is it, the Slaughtered Woods. There are no sounds here. No leaves rustle, no birds chirp, and not even the wind can be heard. Dun, dun, dun. But yeah, that shroud's going to be a bit of a problem. So the eerie glade has been revealed. But there's nobody there at the moment. So because, yep, that's fine. Investigations were fine. Frozen in Fear was fine because we didn't move, we didn't evade, and we didn't fight. We just investigated. Obscuring Fog's going to go to the base of the hill, which is fine because there are no clues there. And Jenny's not going to get it. She's in the Slaughtered Woods. And hopefully Agnes will be able to move. We'll hopefully get rid of Frozen in Fear. She'll be able to move to the eerie glade and sort of try and pick up the 2 clues there. That is going to be difficult. Perhaps Jenny would be better going there. Do these run to each other? Oh, they are attached. So what we'll do is we'll move that there. Eerie Glade and Slaughtered Woods are connected. Yep, there's an X up there for Eerie Glade, and there's an X down here on Slaughtered Woods. So they do connect. And this other one we picked up, as you can see, doesn't have any connectors. So the only thing that can be connected to is the base of the hill. Right, so we'll put that over there like that. In fact, hang on, I'm just going to rearrange this a bit. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, I'm back. Yes, I've just rearranged it slightly. We might not even have to go to this diverging path because we do have the 4 clues here. So hopefully we can just like miss that one out and pick them up from here. So the Slaughtered Woods is here with Jenny, and I've also put the 2 clues for the Eerie Glade because you get 1 per investigator there. So that's good. And just before we finish Agnes off, I think at the end of her turn, yes, the end of her turn, we've got to test willpower. Now, willpower 3. She has got willpower 6 because of the Key of East, so we need a -3 or better. And remember, we've got lucky just in case. And we get a -3, which is good enough. Ha ha ha! Get rid of Frozen in Fear. Brilliant stuff. Okay, that is it for Agnes Baker. Next up, it is the enemy phase. And here we are at the enemy phase. We've got no enemies on the board, so we can mosey right on. So let's move on to the upkeep phase. And here we are at the upkeep phase. Once again, I've put the actions back so they're ready. And we've got to unexhaust a card because we used scrying. So we'll pop that there. Hopefully we'll be able to use that again next turn because I don't fancy that conglomeration of spheres coming out. So again, we might be able to put the conglomeration to the bottom. So we will probably use that with Agnes next turn. But our first investigator is Jenny. So Jenny is going to get a card. And she gets... Oh, not searching for Izzy. Attach searching to Izzy to the location farthest from you. That is going to be Sentinel Peak. This is bad. 2 actions to investigate. If you succeed, instead of discovering clues, discard searching for Izzy. Forced. When the game ends, if searching for Izzy is in play, you suffer 1 mental trauma. Ooh, that's bad. Right. Okay. Oh, so Sentinel Peak. That's where she thinks they've took her, up the top of Sentinel Peak. So Jenny is in a tiz. Does she have to investigate where Lizzie is? Does she have to be... Sorry, Izzy. Does she have to be on Sentinel Peak to do that investigation? I can't remember. It's been a long while. Let me know. If she can just do the investigation here, well, I think we'll have to just burn the 2 actions here in the Slaughtered Woods to do that investigation test. Because we do not want that hanging around at the end of the game. So let us know on that one. But it might be that I've got to go all the way to Sentinel Peak, which we've got to do by the end of this game anyway, or we lose. So perhaps it is much of a muchness after all, but let me know on that. And she once again gets 2 resources. That's the end for her, so we'll get rid of... Yeah, at the end of the round we'll discard this. Do it now while I think on. Then we move on to Agnes, and she gets Unexpected Courage. Excellent. 2 wildcard icons. Max committed once, 1 per skill test. Sometimes the most selfless acts can come from the strangest places. This will help us searching for those 2 clues, I hope. So we'll pop that down here. And remember, we've still got lucky, so awesome. And we get a resource, so we're back up to 4. And that is it for round 70. Bit of a downer about searching for Izzy, but other than that, we did pretty well, didn't we? Apart from, obviously, Jenny shooting Agnes right at the beginning, that was a bit of a downer, but other than that, we've done okay. We could do with getting emergency aid or something. I don't like having her on just 3 health. But we've got scrying. Hopefully that will help us out. We know what's coming out next turn. We've got Ancient Evils for Jenny. So we'll end up on, what's that? We'll end up on 7 Doom next Mythos phase, which is pretty bad. But then we will get, what was it, Obscuring Fog. But Obscuring Fog on base of the hill is fine. There are no clues there, so we don't mind about that. Then we can move Agnes, hopefully, to the Eerie Glade, and she can start getting these. We need to get these 4 clues very quickly before that agenda flicks over. We want to flick our act over before the agenda flicks over and make our way up to Sentinel Peak if we can. The other good thing was, obviously, we got 2 of these divergent paths. We managed to investigate and find them. I don't think we need the other one. As long as we can get the 4 clues off these 2, we're golden. Get up to the ascending path, then we've got the altered paths to deal with, and then we finally get to Sentinel Peak. But yes, things are getting pretty grim now. And as ever in this game, time is your main enemy. For all the horrors that come out of the Mythos pack, in any Arkham Files game, you just run out of time so quickly. And if you fail tests and things like that, it just makes it so much more difficult. But we're beginning to get there. We're getting somewhere. Alright, so that is it for episode 40 of the Dunwich Legacy and Where Doom Awaits. I hope you enjoyed this episode. As ever, if I've made any mistakes, please let me know and I will do my best to fix them. Any strategy tips or anything like that, any tactics, please let me know. I need all the help I can get. As ever, anybody who has liked or even disliked the video, at least you watched it. So thank you very much for that. And anyone who's been across to Board Game Links to upvote the site, thank you. Similarly, anybody who's gone over to Board Game Geek and liked the video threads over there, or drop Geek Gold, anything like that, thank you so much. But, yes, that is it for episode 40. Thank you for all the help and support, and I hope to see you next time for episode 41. But until then, this is me, Catweazle, signing off. Toodaloo.